And it might not be how they imagine retirement, but the latest stats out show that nearly half of us use grandparents as a childcare facility. With childcare fees on the rise and fewer affordable places available, there's a new grey army of childcare workers in the ranks.
I suppose in a way I was more selfish than anything because I wanted the experience of having her with me.
Leah Shelton looks after her 15-month-old granddaughter Jessica 2 to 3 times a week and says she wouldn't have it any other way.
Jess arrives here sometime just after 7 in the morning. My son picks her up somewhere between 5:30ish, occasionally 6 o'clock, depending on exactly what he has at work.
For Jessica's parents, Nathan and Jackie Shelton, full-time care wasn't an option.
We worked out that the cost of childcare 5 days a week was essentially the same as sending a child to private school.
So to have her go to the grandparents 3 days a week is a big help.
With 95% of grandparents not being paid, when does free childcare in the form of grandma and granddad cross the line and become exploitative?
In some cases, it may well be unfair to ask grandma to look after the children, but I also think that grandma is complicit.
Social demographer Bernard Salt sees this as a growing trend.
If you're on an average income or even a below average income, then paying someone to look after your kids means that it just doesn't work to go back to work. The only way you can make it work is, in fact, if you get free childcare through grandma or grandpa.
On average, it costs $375 a week to have a child in daycare. And with the minimum wage sitting at just $543, that leaves mum with only $17 a day in her pocket.
And they're just so incredibly expensive, even with rebates and things like that. So I think people are trying to rely on their parents to look after the kids.
I really think that grandparents should necessarily be sort of full-time daycare for kids. They've been there, done that, and I think it's time for them to have a rest.
But I've never said no because I've never felt the need.
Rosetta Isma looks after her grandkids up to 3 days a week.
I initially offered to help out. I started looking after my eldest, Ezra, when he was 3 months old because I just couldn't bear for him to go to a childcare centre.
Her son and daughter-in-law found it so helpful they moved in next door. Now they share a backyard and childcare duties.
We all believe that it takes a village to raise a child, and I think that over the years there's been a lot of emphasis, on isolation and of people, just doing things on their own.
They experience something at the daycare, they experience something with the grandparents, and they experience another set of things with their own parents at home, and I think that's all very, very worthwhile for a child, and that's one of the main reasons that I'm happy to do it.
And I don't charge $1 a minute if they're late picking the child up.
Keeps the grandparents happy, they get to see her. It keeps us happy, we get to go back to work.
They're definitely a godsend.
For sure, yeah. Wouldn't be able to do it without the grandparents.
It is a bit tiring towards the end of the day, but I wouldn't give up that tired feeling for anything. I wouldn't give it up.
I wish I had grandparents around to look after Ollie. Raph gets looked after by your grandparents.
Yeah, my wife's back work a couple of days a week and her mother looks after him, which is great.
Do you pay her?
No, we don't, but we're struggling.
We put up a poll today. We put up a poll to ask whether you should be paying grandparents to look after, and it was neck and neck. Yes said 47% and 53% said no. So you're nearing the time when you're going to have to start putting your hand in the pocket, Dave.
The only reason it came up in favour of not paying grandparents is they're too busy looking after kids to log on and vote on that poll.
I'm looking forward to being a grandparent. I'm closer to it than any of you lot. I think it's crossed both of my sons' minds to make their mother and I grandparents at some point in time. I hope it has. Anyway.
Well, we love you babysitting us on a Monday night. We've got to take a break. We'll be right back after this.